all the games I used to play in my younger, wilder days. The game of clubs and tees, it never crossed my mind. But after some discussion with my closest, dearest friends, I decided that I'd give it one good try.
Welcome into yet another episode of the Turn Fantasy Golf Podcast. My name is Andrew Putters. I'm here with Joe Nicely from Rotoballer.com, lead golf editor up there. Just got done with the Players Championship. Did not disappoint. Joe, first of all, Rotoballer, what we got going on for the rest of the year? We got major season on the horizon, Joe. I feel like we just put one in the behind us here with the players. What we got going on with Rotoballer.com?
Yeah, man. Majors are coming. The Masters will be here before you know it. Had a great week over there. Had my guy Spencer, who writes the Vegas report over there, part of our PGA premium package. Had Justin Thomas, his third outright winner in the last 5 weeks. The dude's just amazing. He's totally killing it. Josh Bennett's throwing out an amazing course breakdown each and every week. PGA DFS research station with everything you need. $69 for the rest of the year when you use promo code NICE, N-I-C-E. We feel like it's a great deal. Hope you'll go check it out over at rotoballer.com.
There you go, rotoballer.com. Use the promo code NICE. So before we get going in today's action, on popular demand, we've made a promise. We're going to draw a name right here. Joe's got the names in a hat. We'll be doing some more of this stuff in the future with some other products that we got rolling this way, but Joe's got all the names in the hat. So Joe, go right ahead and get our winner.
All right, here we go. Exciting stuff.
Oh, yeah.
All right, here we go. The winner of the hat is Brian Vincent at Slant Week on Twitter. Brian, you're the winner, my man. Just hit us up on Twitter. We'll reach out to you, but we'll definitely get together and we will get you a hat, the Turn hat. We appreciate everybody entering. Appreciate everybody subscribing to the YouTube channel. Had a couple people ask about buying them. We'll see if we can't make that happen. We're not going to have many left. We really didn't know how many to get. Didn't know we were going to have this kind of demand for them. We've had a ton of demand for them locally. So if we have any available to sell, we will definitely let you know about that. And we appreciate your interest. But we will for sure have more coming very shortly, that anybody that wants one can get one. So just hang with us and we'll get that for you as soon as possible.
Absolutely. There you go. We got more coming. Be checking us out here on the podcast, Twitter, whatever. Listen to us, and we'll let you know when those are available. I don't think on this go round we're going to have any to sell, but we will have some more in the future, all different colors and everything. So saying that, say this, Joe, Golf Players Championship. We did not have a great week, to say. And what I mean by that is you said out there on Twitter, just some weeks this happens about twice a year, and this is one of those weeks for you. We weren't completely shot in the dark. Heart play last week. I threw out JT and gave Sergio a little love, and he was really right there for a top 5 coming in. But JT, man, great win for him. Played great on Saturday and finished up great on Sunday with putting it away. But we cannot discount what Lee Westwood has done over the last 2 weeks, Joe. And many of you do not know, Joe's the only one on this community that knows this, but I did not watch one single shot yesterday before I was at Children's Hospital all day in the emergency room. I had my 3-year-old broke a bone in her hand, and I was at the ER all day. So did not get anything yesterday, Joe. You have to fill me in on a little bit of golf, what you thought coming down the stretch on Sunday. I will say this, first and foremost, this tournament needs to be played in March. That golf course looked amazing.
Yeah, man, really fun one. Like you said, a bad week for me DFS-wise. Great call by you on JT on the heart play. So we hope you guys always stick around until the end of the episode for that. We have a ton of fun with those, and I've been doing pretty well with them. Andrew hit JT last week, and just one of those weeks, man. We talked about on the show repeatedly last week that tons of volatility at TPC Sawgrass. This tournament kind of every single year throws some surprises at us. Rory shooting 10 over definitely qualifies as a big surprise. I think Xander was a big surprise. Cantlay, Simpson, guys that I was on and felt really comfortable about all missed the cut. So, it's just one of those tournaments, almost a great week to embrace the volatility. I feel like maybe instead of doing that, I want to try to go a little bit more conservative, and that definitely bit me. But yeah, man, it was a really, really fun Sunday. I watched pretty much all of it. Bryson and Lee Westwood were in there battling. JT tried to make a run. Didn't feel like JT made any putts at all on the front, but he hit the ball absolutely great. I'm not sure how many greens he ended up missing, but I don't think he missed any like on the front. But kind of a bizarre hole there. Bryson stone cold tops one off the tee, and then Westwood hits a big banana slice on the same hole. So it was kind of crazy, but Bryson battled back. Westwood hung in there. JT just kind of overcome him in the end. Great player. We all expected him to have a big season this year coming into 2021, and he kind of stumbled out of the gate. Had some controversy. His grandfather passed away, several things, but hadn't been quite the player we thought he would be. But he sure looked like it this past week at the Players. So it's always fun. Didn't work out too well for me, but I still really enjoyed the golf. And ready to head to Honda, man. It's kind of another one of those weeks where we're guessing a little bit. Kind of a tough field this week.
Yeah, so Honda or Players last week, I threw him out in the one and done as well. And the reason I did that was, strangely enough, as great as a player as he is, not one single person was talking about him. And it seems that there might be a little trend in these top 10, top 12 players that when nobody's talking about them, man, they come out and show us up. So we did it with P. Reed at Torrey Pines. Nobody was talking about Morikawa, even though he was striping the ball and almost first in the field in strokes gained approach. And then now JT, nobody was talking about him last week. So great tournament. The golf course set up great. Like I said, unfortunately didn't get to see any action on Sunday, but that's okay. Let's just move right in here to the Honda, man. This is always a great tournament, mainly because the golf course is so good and so historic. First of all, it's going to be played at the PGA National Champion Course at the PGA National Golf Club in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. It was host of the 83 Ryder Cup, 87 PGA Championship, and the Senior PGA Championship from 82 to 2000. Now it's held the Honda Classic now since the 07 till now. Past winners, again, the past winners here, you look at them, there's just some real good ball strikers in this group, Joe. First off, Sanjay Im last year. You had Keith Mitchell, JT the year before on whenever he kicked the guy out on number 10 on Sunday for time to get in the bunker. Adam Scott. What's interesting is Ricky won here. Not that he's not a great ball striker, but of course, that was about 4 years ago whenever he was really, really clicking on all cylinders. But you go back to Adam Scott, Padraig Harrington, Russell Henley. Keep on going down the list. You're going to see tons of ball strikers. So that's what we can expect here. As far as the golf course goes, par 70, 100 yards, Bermuda throughout, different spots of Bermuda throughout. It's just a tough golf course, Joe. And it's going to come down. I think it's they call this thing the bear trap coming down, 15, 16, 17 or 14, 15, 16, I think. It's two par fours and a par three, I think. And it's extremely, extremely tough. And really you have to, if you play them even par for the week, you really done something well. So past the golf course, getting right in here to DraftKings, Joe. First thing we're going to hit on, a couple of names got dropped today out for COVID-19. Gary Woodland, Doc Revin, scratch them off your list, folks. And actually probably would have been two guys we would have been looking at this week. But just go right here at the top right away. Sanjay M, Daniel Berger, Lee Westwood, Joaquin Needham, Adam Scott. I feel like first of all, if you're going to be looking at this time slot for me, Joe, I'll go ahead. If you're looking in this slot, there's one name that stands above the best among the rest. I mean, Sanjay is a close second in this group, but I cannot believe that he's rated above Daniel Berger.
Yeah, a little bit surprising to me too, Andrew. Obviously, Sung Jae's the defending champion. He's a great player, but Berger's also played really well here. Had a T4 here last year. Couple of made cuts leading up to that T4, so he's played really well on this course, and obviously playing really well this year. Won at the AT&T Pebble Beach last month, so. A lot to like about Daniel Berger, a lot to like about Sung Jae M. They certainly stand out, among this field that which we'll get into. It's pretty weak, man. It runs out pretty quickly. So I'm very interested in these guys. Initial thought is that this might be a stars and scrub week. You might just want to pick two of these guys out up here, Andrew. Lee Westwood has played terrific on this course, has 2 top 5s and 2 top 10s and 8 career starts here. And we know how hot he's been. It's been unbelievable. Runner up last week, close call at the Arnold Palmer. So I guess there's 2 ways to look at it. Does he stay hot? Does he keep riding this momentum and this hot hand, or does it eventually run out? Does he run out of gas a little bit? The guy's 47 years old. I saw on Twitter that he's playing Augusta today with his son. So you kind of wonder where his focus is, but the form is amazing and the course history is really, really strong. So, if you can get over paying 10-6 for Lee Westwood, probably a really solid play. Joaquin Neiman, the course history isn't great, but at 10-4, man, you have to love his ability on this golf course. You feel like he's got a chance to play well, even though he's not really done it before. But started off the year in really amazing fashion. Had a couple of runner-ups to start the year and has continued to play well, even though he's kind of been hit and miss a little bit lately. I wouldn't mind at all going to Joaquin here just because I feel like he's a really, really great player. Loves par 70s. His PGA Tour win came on a par 70 at the Greenbrier. And then you get down almost immediately as you get into 9s, there's guys with issues. Adam Scott's got great course history, former winner, but he hadn't been himself really tee to green. Russell Henley, another former winner, great ball striker. I think you can go there. I like Henley. We played him a lot last year. But when you get up to 98 for Henley, do you just bump up and try to chase an M or a Berger or a Neiman up there? Give me your thoughts, Andrew. I know you don't love paying up usually, but man, with what's down in the 9s and 8s, I'll almost certainly be going here this week.
Yeah, I mean, just giving a quick glance, like we are here on a Monday evening, but giving it a quick glance at the pricing, I mean, I almost feel like there's going to be guys in the 6.8 to 7.4 range that I like just as much or the same as I do in the upper 7s and the lower 8s, mainly on consistency basis, because none of these guys down here are going to give you full blown. Like when you put them in a lineup, you're not just feeling like, man, this guy's going to finish in the top 20. For instance, I'll give you an example. Brandon Steele's been playing a lot of great golf, 8,700. I'm going to feel just as comfortable rostering him as I would a James Hahn, who's also had some recent success, who's going to be 7,300. So there's going to be a lot of that you can look at. Another name I can throw out there, Nick Taylor. I know we're getting to the lower part quickly here, but, you're going to be able to play Nick Taylor versus, say, Doug Gim, who's been playing great this year, guys went basically from never being in the 7s now up here to 8,800 all of a sudden after a good week at the Players. So there's going to be some guys up here. I know one guy in particular we're going to be looking at, and that's because he's a killer, and his name's Chris Kirk at 9,000. We're a Chris Kirk podcast.
Sunday, had a rough Sunday.
Had a rough Sunday, Joe. Man, he's a killer. He's been playing great in the last 6 months. I would maybe throw some shine of caution that he has just played since his win, man, he's played nonstop. I think he's maybe took 2 weeks off. So that competitive edge, especially coming down Sunday, that's going to wear you out mentally, physically, all around. So I really don't even know where to go as far as players go. If you look down here through, let's say, really, once you hit to Taylor Gooch, you go all the way down to, heck, 7,900 before maybe I like another player as much as I do Chris Kirk on paper.
Yeah, I feel like that Chris Kirk range is kind of the cream of that crop in there. I would throw Shane Lowry out there. We talk about him occasionally, and I've kind of tried getting back on a couple of times and it hadn't worked out. But he played really well last week at the Players. Had his best ball striking outing in nearly a year. since the Houston Open last October. Had a T21 on this golf course last week, and something I don't think we mentioned yet, Andrew. A lot of wind expected. Thursday, 20 miles an hour or so. Sunday, maybe up to 30 miles an hour or so. So that's definitely something we kind of want to keep in the back of our mind this week. And Shane Lowry is an excellent wind player. Of course, the Irishman Open champion winner. So I'm interested in Lowry. Cameron Tringali's a guy I've rostered a ton this year. Solid course history, not great. And then you mentioned Chris Kirk. Kind of fell apart on us there Sunday. Could not make a putt. Lost almost 5 strokes putting last week. But struck the ball really well from tee to green. Was up there fighting for the lead about halfway through at the Players in that elite field. So $2,000 price bump, kind of tough to swallow. But I'll continue to look at him, just not all in like I've been the last couple of weeks. And then, man, you mentioned Ricky, former winner here, has a runner up here, but man, he's making his money doing commercials right now because he is not getting paid on the golf course, Andrew. You mentioned Gim. He's played well. Brendan Steele's another guy that you can look at. A couple of T14s here and a T4 last year. Has played solid golf this year, was in the mix over in Hawaii, and has kind of popped a couple times. So Brendan Steele might be my go-to in the 8s until you get down there. Then it's getting even more dicey, man, when you get down to like guys like Benny On, Wyndham Clark, these guys with good course history that you feel have upside, but are utterly grossed or austere at all times. But in this type of tournament with this field, we got to look at those guys, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we got to look at anybody with any kind of win experience or anything really. And this is the first tournament in a long time that we can look at like the hardcore grinders, especially in these when you're dealing with value, because you're going to come down to few over par making the cut, and that we just don't see that usually on a weekly basis. So you got to be looking for those guys that are grinding it out on every putt, which I know some people that maybe might be on the inside say they all grind, but we know that's the mundane of playing every week. It's not always easy to keep your mind in it even when you're not playing great. So we got to look at some grinding equity in here.
Yeah, for sure, especially on a golf course this tough, man. I mean, this tournament, Andrew, to kind of step away from the salary scale for a second, this tournament I've always really liked. I enjoy this golf course. I like seeing these guys play hard golf courses, but the Honda got tossed in between the Players and the WGC match play next week. And it's a very hard golf course. So you just don't have a great turnout, man. Last year, I think it was between the WGC Mexico and the Arnold Palmer. So they shuffled it a bit. It's kind of a long-standing event, but man, the turnout still isn't great this week, and you can kind of understand why with this being such a hard golf course.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, you ask these guys. It's almost week in, week out. They got to make their schedules early on, especially the real, the top, say, 75, 80 guys, because they're almost guaranteed everything for the rest of the year, especially if they're in the top, 60 in the world, 50 in the world. So looking forward to it, though. Like you said, tough course. Looking forward to these guys grinding. This is always a great tournament to watch. Anywhere from 4 to 10, 11 unders can win. Dropping on down. You talked about the guy. We kind of actually already hit on really the guys all the way down. A name I'm going to throw out there once we go down the salary scale through the 7s or through the 8s. Really a name that's going to hit me hard here at the top. I don't even know what he did last week in his home course. He made the cut. Okay, so Russell Knox, great ball striker, does not hit the ball very far, but he's a great ball striker. He's from Scotland, knows how to play in the wind. Played pretty good at Pebble Beach, I think it was. Maybe like a top 10 there. Made the cut last week at his home course, but I don't know, for some reason at 7,900, he's just going to be a man that is going to hit fairways, going to hit greens, not going to woo you in any way, but I could definitely see him, hanging around par and really being right there in the mix come Sunday.
Yeah, man. Knox is a great player, like you said. Anytime you're talking wind and tough golf courses, and you need to grind and be good tee to green, Russell Knox comes to mind. We've seen him pop up a couple times. You mentioned, earlier in the year, we've seen some good outings from him. So certainly a guy you can look at. A guy that I'm really interested in there, the Ric Flair Play of the Week, Brandon Wu, right there at 7,800. I like him a lot. Won the Corn Ferry Tour Championship to close out 2020 last year back in August. Had a T7 at the Puerto Rico Open. He's a player that spent a ton of his time on the Corn Ferry Tour last year, and kind of because of COVID, he's kind of stuck in this purgatory between the PGA Tour and the Corn Ferry Tour. But I think Brandon Wu's an excellent player. He's a really good college golfer. So I like Brandon Wu there at 7,800. Not a name that perhaps everybody knows. And then as you go down, man, it's all just strictly GPP plays to me at this point. Nobody's really solidified themselves that I'm going to be all in on. I want to say Luke List. He's got a runner up on his resume here and an additional top 10. We've seen him pop a little bit earlier in the year, but he's struggled lately. Michael Thompson, I believe, is a former winner here. We've seen him play some pretty solid golf. He's got a couple of top 25s in his last 3 starts at the Honda. So, it's gross, but so are most of these guys. But I look at like List and Michael Thomas, and then you get down into some of these guys, that we've rostered this year that we'll look at. Matt Jones, he's an Aussie, can play in the wind. Henrik Norlander had an amazing stretch of golf there, man, and you kind of feel like he just ran out of gas, was playing almost every single week. And he's kind of hit bottom in the last couple weeks. And a guy that I'm super interested in, Andrew, has played well here, made 4 straight cuts, won twice on a Jack Nicklaus designed course up in Canada. Johnny Vegas had a runner up in Puerto Rico. I know you like to play Vegas from time to time. What are you thinking about him, man? At 7,300, actually feels maybe a little underpriced for the upside he brings to the table this week.
The only thing that would cost me with Johnny Vegas is he likes to eat his meat on the par 5s, and because he hits the ball so far off the tee. And literally, there's not a par 5 that they play on tour he cannot get 2 and 2. And the 2 Canadian Opens he won back to back were well known for their reachable par 5s, and he lit those. I think one year he shot 21 under and shot 16 under on the par 5s for the week. So that would be the only thing that would hold me up on him, because this course does not mass with a lot of par 5s. But I do agree with the upside he brings. 7,300 is a little bit underpriced, Joe.
Yeah, he's just we've seen him win, like you mentioned, at the Canadian Open a couple of times. Has the game to get there, and had a runner up in Puerto Rico just a couple of weeks ago. So we know he's a streaky guy. Maybe just kind of a ride the hot hand type of play there, Andrew. And going on down, man, we get into some guys that we've talked about a lot on this show, actually. Matthew Neesmith, James Hahn, Richie Warinsky, and then our boys, Keith Mitchell, Will Gordon. You mentioned Nick Taylor earlier. These are guys that I'll be looking at. It's not guys that we've played a lot lately. Maybe not guys that we're used to seeing at these price tags. But a guy like Will Gordon, man, who's really, really good from tee to green and has kind of been coming into his own a little bit as a pro this year, kind of showing what we hoped he would last year. I won't hesitate to click Will Gordon there at 7,100, especially in stars and scrub lineups where, maybe you get a Berger and a Neiman in there and then drop down and start looking at these guys like this.
Yeah, I actually was going to bring up Gordon. I've got him written down. We've talked about him a lot in the past. He's broke our hearts a lot because we were on him for about 6 straight months where he missed a cut. But the talent level's there. He's made 3 straight cuts, Joe. That's probably the biggest part. He's made 3 straight cuts. And if there is a tournament that makes sense to play him, it's here, because he hits it so well and hits it so far. We get to that par 3 on the back that he's going to have a lesser iron than those rest of those guys are going to have into that one there at the Bear Trap. And I really like him on this track. Another guy that I like is somebody that you're not even allowed to say his name. Unfortunately, is Lucas Glover, Joe. It makes a lot of sense right here, Joe. It makes a lot of sense.
Kevin WD last week. Glover's in the same vein, sir.
Well, Kevin the WD was strictly on the 8 balls he hit in the water on 17, I believe. But a name we kind of went right over, Cage Lee, man. tied second at Waste Management, made the cut at the Genesis, missed the cut at the Arnold Palmer. Bad second round, but made the cut last week at the Players. Guy's got some talent. 7,500 might be able to sneak him in some GPPs. You get down through here, Ryan Moore plays pretty consistent golf. Doesn't hit the ball long ways, but he's a good player.
I feel like I've not seen Ryan Moore play golf in like 3 years.
I know. Well, he took the whole pandemic off.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you never see him play. You never kind of have him in mind, and then you look at his game log, and it's like, he had what did he have last week at the Players? He was in the 30s. I think. Yeah, had like a T26 the week before. So I mean, Moore's one of those guys when he gets going can really play, and has played at high levels throughout his career. One of the greatest amateurs in the history of United States golf. So. I mean, obviously Moore's got the pedigree to play well, but I just kind of never know where to put him because it seems like his schedule's so stop and start. But, the same could be said for guys like Neesmith that have flashed. Denny McCarthy made a little run last week. We like to play him. Our boy Peter Malnati, this doesn't feel like his type of track. Wesley Bryan's got a T4 here, but he's a little bit higher than we've seen him in the past. I like him when he's down there near the stone minimum. But yeah, man, you just get into these guys where, more than likely I'll start up at the top, pick a couple guys, whether it be a Amberger, Berger Neiman, some combination of those three, playing two of them, and then getting down here and just taking some shots, mixing and matching. Vets you can play here. I mean, you could look at a guy like Rory Sabatini, that's a former winner here. I was even looking at your guy, man. The Duff Daddy down there at 6,700. He's played a little bit of golf this year, looked okay, and has been really, really good here. He's good on Jack Nicklaus golf courses, won at Memorial. So, I mean, I think you can give Duff a look even at 6,700, man. I don't know. I'm kind of searching down here at this point in the week, but I do feel like that's the direction I'm going is just trying to find some hidden gems down here and toss them in there with the big boys.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not scared to throw Duff in there at any moment just because he hits the ball so good. Dude literally could shoot even par on this week. Finished, top 20. I think even par usually finishes right around top 20 here. So
yeah, I mean, he checks a lot of the boxes we've kind of been talking about tonight. Ball striker, grinder, knows his way around the course, can handle the wind. So. There are worse plays you can make in GPPs this week for sure.
Yeah, so let me ask you, just go back up to the top because this is a predicament I'm already running into just looking at it. You got the wind and in the course history with both these guys, Adam Scott and Russell Henley, $300 difference. Do you maybe not win ability? Russell Henley probably actually has more win equity than Adam Scott does just because of the putter, but overall, would you play Scott over Henley in this spot? I mean, I look at consistency here. Henley's missed several cuts this year compared to Scott. So
it's a really interesting question, and it's probably one of those coin flip situations that we talk about sometimes, where it's going to be a pretty thin margin in your decision. But man, you look at Adam Scott's numbers, Andrew, and what we traditionally see from Adam Scott is extremely strong ball striking, great from tee to green, and horrible putting numbers. And if you dive into Adam Scott's numbers, it's actually kind of inverted. He's been putting well, but the last two starts at the Players and at Concession, the WGC, he's lost 5.2 strokes in each of those events off the tee, which is kind of amazing for Adam Scott. He lost 9.3 strokes total tee to green at Concession. Made the cut at the Players, somewhere where he's always thrived. But I'm a little concerned about that ball striking when you consider, Adam Scott has his putter carrying him right now. I don't know how much you can trust that, even though, he's a world-class player and you have to love him on this golf course. Whereas Henley, he's been really solid with the irons, but also struggling off the tee a little bit. So yeah, man, I'm not answering your question at all, but I feel like it's just really a toss-up between those two.
Yeah, I got you. That's why I was sitting there lowering. Or would you drop? You might drop on down. I mean, really, Taylor Gooch, man, he's played great over the last 4 or 5 weeks. Actually, really all year. And really he's kind of went unnoticed. Tied for 12th at Genesis, tied for 5th last week. Of course, he played great on Sunday. You know, played well at Farmers, American Express, 4th at Houston. I mean, he's played great, and he's got some serious game. I was watching some of the highlight reel there, and he's got some game on him.
Yeah, he really does, man. And he, if you go through his game log and just kind of look where he's had strong finishes, it tends to be on hard golf courses. Like you said, you mentioned his finishing position last week. Played really well at Riviera. We've seen him play well in this tournament before. So he's just a guy that's an excellent ball striker and seems to always pop on tough golf courses. He gained almost 7 strokes with his irons last week. So I think you can definitely look at Gooch, and I already mentioned Shane Lowry in that area for me. And then Tringali and Kirk are just kind of guys that I've been riding all year. So I imagine I'll try to get a little bit of exposure there and probably go light in the 8s and then start getting down into the 7s, man. That's kind of where my bills are heading this week. What are your thoughts on lineup construction?
I'm gonna put 2 guys that are extremely expensive together and try to find 4 guys around 7,000, 68, 68 to 75. I think they'll in there. That's where I'm gonna be looking to try to put something together.
Yeah, that's me too, man. This is one of those weeks where I'm willing to just say, hey, it's a GPP week. Not gonna be grinding out cash games or anything like that with this field on this golf course. So just take some shots in GPPs for me this week and leaning stars and scrubs.
There you go. So Joe, on the way out, Joe Nasi, where's your heart at this week, Joe, for the Honda Classic? One of the toughest courses they play all year. And really, this is a great week, just like Pebble Beach, really, or maybe more than Pebble Beach, for somebody that is going to be struggling in the points to really make some meat. I mean, if you look at Berger, maybe his mindset isn't that bad to play every week, because on these weaker fields, man, they pay just as good as the strong fields do.
Yeah, good point, man. A lot of these guys can make some hay. I mean, it's a big opportunity for a big majority of this field that are kind of middle of the road PGA Tour pros. So it's going to be interesting. I'm sure it's going to be a good tournament. Like I said, like seeing them play this course. Heart play, I'm sticking with my man. He just sticks out to me in this field so much, Andrew. The course history isn't there like the other guys up there, but Joaquin Neiman, I got to roll with him, man. That's where my heart's at this week. What about you, buddy? Let's follow up the JT win last week. No pressure.
Yeah, Joaquin Neiman makes a lot of sense. He'll be hitting that stinger driver out there about 4 foot off the ground that rolls about 150 yards. I like that as well. Man, I really hated that Woodland withdrew. I was feeling him this week for some reason. I don't know why. This is such a tough call this week because you want to play somebody really at the top. But I feel like if it isn't going to be, I'm not saying that Daniel Berger isn't going to win, but if it isn't going to be him or Sungjae, it's going to be somebody. I feel like it's going to be somebody out of nowhere, really. So I'm going to have to go with the deep clutches to find a name, Joe. A ball striker. Golly. Oh, man. I like so many players up here. I hate to put my name on something that isn't going to be to fruition, Joe. So let's just go ahead and say that I like Sungjae M and Daniel Berger. Obviously, they're the 2 most expensive guys, but let's be honest, they're the cream of the crop against the rest of the field. But if I'm throwing just a dart heart, if I'm really putting my heart on the line, Joe, I'm going to reach deep down in the 7s and pull a name out of the hat. If I'm putting money on something, I'm going to be looking at finding something for Ryan Moore in the top 10, top 20, top 5, top 40 realm and see what that pays. That's my heart play of the week, Joe. So Ryan Moore, an all-in play as far as win all the way to top 40, find a number you like and put it in there. Ryan Moore, 7,300.
I like it, man. I like it. I considered him too. I kind of looked at him a little bit. And Brandon Wu, sleeper play of the week, Brandon Wu.
Yeah, I really you brought up Will Gordon earlier. I really like his, like I said, made 3 straight cuts. Maybe the consistency's coming around. this course makes a lot of sense. Would not be surprised to see him if he gets that putter going, man. Top 5. I mean, but I'm looking forward to seeing some, different names on the weekend. That's why Pebble Beach was so awesome. We saw a bunch of names up there we've never seen before. So looking forward to it, Joe. What about you?
Yeah, man. Yeah, like I said, I enjoy this tournament, enjoy this golf course. Honestly, would like to see it get back to seeing those strong fields that we've seen in the past. I mean, it was just a couple of years ago we saw Koepka and Ricky Fowler, duking it out. Of course, Keith Mitchell came away. We've seen JT win this tournament in the past. Rory's won this tournament in the past. So, I hope eventually. I don't know what the solution is as far as the schedule. When you got an Arnold Palmer and a Players and the WGCs and all this kind of in this Florida swing, there's going to be one tournament that takes a hit, man. But being on the heels of the Players before the WGC match play, which everybody's playing both those events. It's just really tough. But hopefully the Honda will get back one day and looking forward to a good tournament this year.
That's exactly right. I remember one of my favorite memories, I believe it was here, is whenever Tiger on his way back trying to make a comeback, and when Rory won, I believe, then Tiger shoot like 63 or 4 on Sunday and almost run down Rory, and then Rory pulled away. It's a great tournament, man. It's a great tournament. Yeah. So, yeah, we're expecting still a great tournament this weekend. A lot of good players still, a lot of people that we hopefully never heard of or seen before on getting primetime looks are going to get it this weekend. That's about all we have for the show today. I'm Andrew Putters. That's Joe Nicely. Rotoballer.com. Use the promo code NICE. We appreciate everybody. Give us a follow. Give us a like. Share with your friends. Stay tuned. More free merch coming your way. I'm Andrew Putters. That's Joe Nicely. The Turn Fantasy Golf Podcast.